We all know that NPCs are super important in Hollow Knight, whether it be the cartographer, cornifer, the dreamers which are required to beat the game, or the fast travel stag. Well, we can all agree that it is definitely not that asshole midwife. So today, let's break down every NPC in Hollow Knight. How do we classify an NPC? Is it anyone that you can interact with? Then that would include every single spirit in the Spirit's Glade, which, if I'm not wrong, is over 37 characters. I can't do that. I have a life. So how do we classify an NPC? Luckily, if you go into the Hollow Knight wiki, you can find every NPC on a list. This list is what we're going to be using. So in the wiki, there are about 6 types of NPCs. Merchants like Sly, Nail Masters like Motto, Wanderers like Quarrel, Quest NPCs like the 3 Dreamers, Miscellaneous NPCs, for example Bardoon or the Mask Maker, and assholes like Midwife. So let's first take a look at the merchants. Now the merchants are just anyone who takes money or a resource in exchange for another resource or item. Salubra. Salubra is one of the first NPCs you meet. Located in the bottom right of the crossroads, she's a slug who has lots of experience with charms and will sell you 5 different charms, that being the Lifeblood Heart, the Long Nail, Steady Body, Shaman Stone, and obviously the most important one of all, the ultimate charm, Quick Focus. Despite her knowledge of charms, she's pretty clueless about everything else that's been happening, and still thinks that the kingdom is in great shape and her neighbors are alive. When you collect all 40 charms in Hollow Knight, you can buy Salubra's Blessing for 800 Geo. This allows you to regenerate soul when sitting on a bench. It also gets you a smooch from Salubra. Confessor Gigi. At the base of the Crystal Peak, you can find Confessor Gigi sleeping behind a locked door. This door is opened with the Elegant Key, and when the knight enters the door using the Elegant Key, she'll wake up and inform us that the kingdom is filled with stains of regret. Confessor Gigi can help you summon your lost shade if you give her a rancid egg. She also mentions that her masters, who she shares with Steel Soul Jin, oppose order and are stated to be much more powerful than her. So think of the masters like Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls. Leg Eater. Leg Eater is a termite that you find in the fungal wastes. He sells you 3 fragile charms, including the Fragile Heart, Fragile Greed, and the Fragile Strength. These charms break when you die, and he can repair the broken ones for more Geo. And even though he looks like a crackhead, he has strong aspirations to be a king, believing that if you have enough money, you can become a powerful royal figure. Royal, probably not. Powerful, yes. Divine. Divine is a member of the Grim Troop added in the DLC. When she gets to Dirtmouth, she talks about the smell from below her, obviously that being Leg Eater. She upgrades her fragile charms into unbreakable charms by eating them and spitting them out her butt. I don't know, it's disturbing. If the knight goes to Leg Eater with all fragile charms and their unbreakable variants, Leg Eater will go up and find Divine. When you get back to Divine, you can see that Leg Eater's claws are on the floor, and the fact that Divine has ate him. Izelda. Izelda is Cornifer's wife. She sells mapping tools such as the Quill and the Wayward Compass. She used to be a warrior before marrying Cornifer and settling down in Dirtmouth. Izelda worries he's gonna die when exploring, which makes sense. Like, how is this guy supposed to fight these guys? Or these guys? Or him? Little Fool. This mobba can be found chained up in the entrance of the Colosseum of Fools. He explains how the Colosseum works and takes payments to unlock the 3 trials. Other than that, not much is known about this dude, other than the fact that he is a huge Colosseum fanboy. Mirabelle the Banker. She can be found in the Fog Canyon and offers to keep money for the night as a deposit, which can be withdrawn anytime. However, despite her nice personality, Mirabelle is actually a thief. She'll run away if the knight deposits enough money, that being 2,500 Geo, and when she does run away, you can track her down at the Pleasure House in the City of Tears. And to reclaim her Geo, just hit her and the money will fall out of her shell. Nailsmith. The Nailsmith is located on the left side of the city where he does nailsmith stuff. When you first meet him, he mistakes you for another customer who he has been serving for a long time. The customer is never brought up either. The Nailsmith can upgrade your nail for Geo and Pale Ore, and once he fully upgrades your nail into the Pure Nail, he'll ask you to kill him in order to feel the power of the Pure Nail. But you don't have to. If you choose to kill him, his body can be found in the trash pit. If you spare him, however, he will join Shio in Greenpath, where they can be found hanging out. Relic Seeker Lem. Relic Seeker Lem is a historian who can be found in the City of Tears. He's quite stingy and moved into the city after everyone had already died from the infection. He enjoys finding clues and antiques from Hollow Nest's glory days. He buys Hollow Nest seals, Wanderer's journals, King's idols, and arcane eggs for money. After beating one of the 3 Dreamers, Lem can be found in the center of the city looking at the statue of the Hollow Knight, before returning back to his shop. If you go to his shop with the Defender's Crest, he'll kick you out and tell you to return from where you came from. Historians, am I right? Sly. Sly is one of the most important NPCs in Hollow Knight. Not only does he give you the Lumify Lantern, which is required to unlock the Dreamers, he also gives you charms, mask shards, vessel fragments, and more. Sly used to be the great nail sage who trained the 3 nail masters, Oro, Shio, Mato. He later quit being the nail sage and became a simple merchant that can be found in Dirtmouth. And even though he quit being the nail sage, he still has his great nail in his basement. He can first be found in the hut next to Salubra, and later shows up in Dirtmouth to reopen his shop. Steel Soul Jin. Steel Soul Jin replaces Confessor Gigi in the Steel Soul mode, as Confessor Gigi's service is not needed in Steel Soul, since it's hardcore. Jin buys your rancid eggs for Gio, not because she wants it, but because her friend, which is most likely Gigi, enjoys it. The Last Stag. The Last Stag, like the title says, is the last stag that's alive. He serves as the main fast travel point in Hollow Knight, and the stags were used to carry passengers and objects back in the golden days of Hollow Nest. The Last Stag, having bad memory, can still remember his duty and still fulfills them. What a good guy. Tuck. Tuck can be found in the City of Tears in the Waterways, and gives the player a rancid egg for about 85 Geo. She believes that the Waterway will give her everything that she's looking for and wants. Nail Master. The 3 Nail Masters are brothers and the students of the great Nail Sage Sly. The 3 Masters can teach the Knight 3 different nail arts: the Dash Slash, the Great Slash, and the Cyclone Slash. Shio. Shio is an ex-Nail Master. He can be seen in Green Path and teaches the Great Slash. Even though he's no longer an active master, Shio is considered one of the best out of the 3 brothers. Mato. Mato can be found in the Howling Cliffs. His hut is decorated with the nails and skulls from his enemies. After teaching the Knight Cyclone Slash, he forms a bond with the Knight and considers it his pupil, and welcomes the Knight whenever it visits. Mato resents his brother Oro since Oro did not uphold a promise. Oro is considered one of the worst nail masters of the 3. From one of Sly's dialogue, Oro swings a snail like a club. Oro is found in the Kingdom's Edge, and unlike the other nail masters, Oro charges the Knight to learn his nail art, and for 800 Geo, he teaches the Knight the Dash Slash. His hut, unlike the other huts, are filled with expensive items and jewelry. He moved away as far as he can from Mato because he owns him something. The thing is never expanded upon, but most people think it's some type of duel or fight. Wanderers. The Wanderers are characters that wander around Hollow Nest and are most likely not from this land. Cloth. Cloth is a backer character. She set out to Hollow Nest to test her strength and courage. She has a dead lover called Nola, which she wishes to join. Cloth can be found in the Fungal Wastes, later in the City of Tears, and at the end Queen's Garden, where she fights the Traitor Lord along with the Knight. This, however, leads to her death and sacrifice. Cornifer. Cornifer is the cartographer of the game. He sells you maps for Geo when you encounter him. Little was known about Cornifer's past, but we know the moment that he was born, he left his siblings and family for some reason, and later moved to Dirtmouth with Izelda. Hornet. Hornet is the daughter of the Pale King. She's the daughter of Hera the Beast, one of the 3 Dreamers. She wields a needle as her main weapon, and she can be found in Green Path, then City of Tears, Abyss, the Beast Den, and Kingdom's Edge, where she guards the King's Brand. She's considered the gender child and got her name from Vespa, the Queen of the Hive. If you want to know more, Mossbag has a video all about Hornet. Mr. Mushroom. This is one of the most puzzling characters in the game. Again, Mossbag has a video about it, but from what we know, Mr. Mushroom is a multi-dimensional being that can go between games that Team Cherry has developed. He can be encountered in the Fungal Wastes, Kingdom's Edge, Deep Nest, Howling Cliffs, Ancient Basin, Fog Canyon, and King's Pass, and then can only be interacted with when the Knight is wearing the Sporeshroom charm. After finding him in all 7 areas, he will appear at the end of the game, seen flying through the air with the title "To Be Continued." Quarrel. Ah yes, Dad Bod Quarrel. He came to Hollow Nest drawn by a mysterious power, which later turns out to be Monomon. Before Hollow Nest's fall, he was Monomon's student, and when Monomon the Dreamer was sealed, she gave Quarrel a mask that can undo the seal protecting her. This mask also wiped Quarrel's memory. He comes back later to help the Knight undo the seal. Tiso. Tiso is a warrior from outside of Hollow Nest. He came here to go to the Coliseum of Fools, where he fights for honor. But he dies, and his dead body can be seen in the Kingdom's Edge. Zote the Mighty. Zote is another character who came here from a distant land to fight in the Coliseum. However, he also sucks at living and needs to be rescued by the player 2 times in the whole game. And if the player doesn't do it, he dies. If the player does, however, and get to the Colosseum, Zoe will fight the player and lose. He can then be found in Dirtmouth sharing his 57 precepts. He also has the most lines of dialogue in Hollow Knight. Quest NPCs. Quest NPCs are people that give you challenges or quests to complete for a reward. Britta. Britta can be found in the fungal waste and needs to be rescued. After rescuing her, you can find her in Dirtmouth and enter her hut, where you get a vessel container. Brum. Brum is a member of the Grim Troop, just like Divine. He despises his life in the trope and asks the knight to help him banish it. If you follow his request, the two of you will uproot the Nightmare Lantern and banish the trope. If you follow this storyline, then Brum will later appear in Dirtmouth as Nim with no memory of his time in the trope. Dreamers. There are 3 dreamers: Hera the Beast, Lurian the Watcher, and Monoma the Teacher. They were put to eternal sleep in order to contain the infection as a seal. The knight can see the projections of the dreamers 2 times, once after the first Hornet fight, and once at the resting grounds where they attempt to trap the knight in the dream realm as to not have their seals lifted. They are located in the Beast's Den in Deep Nest, Watcher Spire in City of Tears, the Teacher's Archive in Fog Canyon, respectively. In order to lift the seal on the dreamers, the player must find the dreamer's real body and dream nail them, entering their dreams and waking them up. Grey Mourner. The Grey Mourner is one of the 5 royal knights. She came from a faraway land and carries a pale, fragile flower. She gives you a challenge to take the flower all the way across Hollow Nest without using fast travel or getting hit, called the Flower Quest. If you do so, she disappears into a mask shard. Grubfather. You can meet Grubfather at the start of the game. He tasks you with saving all the grubs that have been captured across Hollow Nest. He gives you rewards for a certain amount of grubs saved. Out of these rewards, he gives you 2 unique charms, Grub Song and Grubberfly's Elegy. After saving all the grubs, Grubfather will eat his child. Seer. The Seer is the last remaining member of the Moth tribe. She has a connection to the Radiance as well as a deep understanding of dreams. She asks you to collect essence from other bugs and helps sharpen your dream nail in order to break certain seals. After getting 2,400 essence, she ascends and disappears. The Godseekers. The Godseekers is from the Land of Storms. These bugs have a connection to the gods and are able to find new gods with the God Tuner. The Godseekers need a god to survive, and without a god, their mind kind of dies. And when their old gods died, or abandoned them, we don't really know, the Godseekers set out to find a new god using the God Tuner. Hunter. The Hunter can be found in Green Path and gives the knight a challenge to complete the Hunter's Journal by killing every species in Hollow Nest. And by doing so, you get the Hunter's Mark. Master Grimm. Grimm is the leader of the trope. He serves the Nightmare Heart, the god of nightmares. He gives the knight the Grimm Child and tasks the knight to give the child nightmare flames. If the knight feeds the child enough flames, he can be seen sleeping in the main tent of the trope. And if he is dream nailed in this sleeping state, the knight will fight Nightmare King Grimm, the Nightmare Heart's vessel. If the knight defeats Nightmare King Grimm, then the Grimm Child will absorb the Nightmare Heart and become the new vessel for it. Miscellaneous. All these characters are random and don't have a lot of story, and this video is getting quite long already, so let's speedrun them. Bardu. He's a big bug that you can find in the Kingdom's Edge and gives you lore. Distant villagers. They try to trap you with a bench and take you to the Beast's Den where Hera is located. Dunk Defender. He is one of the Pale King's Royal Knights and guards Isma's Tier. He and the White Mourner are the only surviving Royal Knights. Elderbug. He is the first character that you meet and lives in Dirtmouth. Eternal Emilicia. She's a backer character who lives in the City of Tears and was a cast-off. Fluke Hermit. She can be found in the waterways and serves no real purpose. Grimsteed. These are what the Grim Troop uses to travel across places. Mask Maker. Perhaps one of the most puzzling characters. He makes masks for bugs and is located in Deep Nest. He gives you lore and has a pretty cool design. Midwife. This is the asshole that took care of Hornet when she was born, and when you talk to her, she tries to eat you. Moss Prophet. He's in the Queen's Garden and can be seen preaching the words of the Radiance. Later he dies of the infection. Mila. She's a bug that you can see at the entrance of the Crystal Peaks. She later gets infected and it has to be neutralized. Nim. Brum's alter ego that appears after the night follows the Brum storyline. Snail Shamans. The only Snail Shaman that's alive can be found in the Ancestral Mound after defeating the False Knight. It is here that he gives the knight the Vengeful Spirit. Unnamed Moth. This moth is in the dream world and will give you the Dream Nail. Vespa. She's the Queen of the Hive and is dead. White Lady. She is the Pale King's wife and the Queen of Hollow Nest. She helped with the creation of the vessels which she regrets. Willow. She's a bug who killed millions of other people. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like and subscribe and go watch Corey in the House. Goodbye.